we'll be working on heel hooks tonight. So heel hooks, we've covered straight foot locks, we've covered toe holds, we cover like knee bars, and then I will get into heel hooks. Okay, I think when I taught toe holds, we discussed the injury rate with those techniques. Toe holds are very, very like I would say those are probably the highest like injury rate ones. You know, it's pretty easy to pop the outside tendons here of the foot. So those are I feel like the highest rate. You know, this is just me, my opinion. But I think from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, both of my ankles have been popped toe holds. So they have a very like high rate of injury, but heel hooks have maybe not as high of a rate, but more serious of an injury, because now you know the knee is usually what gets hurt with a heel hook. Okay, the toe holds can hurt your knee, but they usually is more here and then your knee if you get too stubborn, right? But the heel hooks, it's like right away to your knee. Okay, so keep that in mind. As a policy here, like it's kind of an unwritten rule, but when I attack leg locks, which I don't do very much, if I do attack like a heel hook, I'll grab the heel and I'll let it go. So whatever, we'll keep going. You know what I mean? I don't really like grab and like start like cranking and like wait for this person to like decide that it's time to tap. You know what I mean? Because you don't really have as much time as you do with like shoulder locks or arm typical submissions, right? So with that being said, we'll go over mechanics of just a standard basic heel hook today, okay? And then we'll also go over similar to the toe hold where people would roll to try to roll with the heel hook, right? So we'll stay attached to them and we'll practice that as well, okay? So, can I have it right, Joe?
Sure.
I'll tap his knee up. It's gonna be your left knee anyway, so we'll just make him even. So what we're gonna do here, guys, is we're going to start in the foot lock position here, right? So we have a standard kind of like foot lock here. For toe holds and for heel hooks, which is what we're doing today, we want the knee reap to the inside here. So we go to this position here. So my leg comes over the hip here, okay? And then I go on this side. Now, from this position, I reach back, hook, boom, and then we apply easy pressure, okay? It's a very quick submission, okay? It's a very, there's not a lot of movement involved to this finish. I know sometimes, people that are specialized on this here, they'll talk about bridging and all this stuff. You might need this with another high-level person, right? With each other, just here, your leg is not supposed to be doing this, okay? Your knee's already to the inside. The movement of your knee is stopped by the squeeze of my leg, my control with the entanglement here. So the only thing that would move as I do this here is your heel, the knee just kind of like explodes. I think it's medically, I think that's what happens, your knee explodes. So we're here, okay? And we just put easy pressure here, okay? So, first thing is the reap, okay? When you land on a leg lock entanglement, a lot of times people will turn and they'll do it, right? Sometimes my leg traveling over will bend his leg, okay? So that also can be done just by your leg coming over the hip farther, okay? And then, another way is to just kind of like use the opposite leg here to hook behind the hamstring, behind the knee area, and I'll turn and I also keep kind of like, I'll give you a different angle here in a second, and I'm also pulling his knee into the position here. I'm pulling and keeping it control here, okay? Now, when we attack the heel, I gotta make sure that I don't lose the toe. So essentially, I don't go back wide to grab, okay? I slide my elbow back and then this motion here traps the foot or the toes behind my armpit area, okay? When we go here, this palm should be facing in the direction that you're going to attack, so you wouldn't go like this. Okay, I'm gonna go here, okay? I also wanna try to get the blade of my wrist to do the motion here. So I bring this back here. I connect with a gable grip and then I turn easy, okay? I don't want the meaty part of my forearm to do this, okay? It could work, but also he's not resisting this beat, but the muscle or the meaty part can just move, right? This here is gonna move versus this is just like the blade, right? So I wanna make sure that I'm attacking the blade with the blade of my wrist here, okay? Clear? So look, I'm here, I slide back, I keep my elbow tight and heavy, I slide back to the heel, I catch it, I'm here, and then I turn easy, okay? Let's do it from the other side. So when we're here, okay, this will give you an angle of how I pull that foot into or that leg into the position. anything, everything else is the same as when we practice like a foot lock, right? So we're here, my middle or my inside leg is, my foot is curled and tucked under the hip on the other side. This leg is on the hip. So at this point I could fall into this side and attack a regular foot lock, okay? But this time I'm gonna go with this same side on here. I'm gonna grab, and then I'm gonna pull. I'm pulling to me and also to the side. Because one of the things you cannot lose when you're attacking a heel hook or a toe hold, because these are twisting locks, is that the knee clears my hip line and my thigh and all this stuff, right? So this turn is pulling that way, but it's also pulling to me to keep this leg trapped, right? This leg usually is gonna be on the hip area here. It wouldn't stay on this side. Sometimes people hook it underneath of this leg here. You don't have to do that. We're just gonna go here, just keep it very simple, okay? I do want to pinch to control and immobilize the leg. The knee cannot turn anymore. Okay, that's what does the submission. From here, this arm travels back, trying to stay close to to his foot so that I don't lose it. I hook the toes. I use the inside blade. I grab my hands together and I turn easy for the finish. Does that make sense to everybody? So it's a basic application of probably the most basic heel hook that we have. Okay, clear? We'll give that a try for a little bit and then we'll move on. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Sir. We'll get into a defense. Obviously, we'll cover that as well. But one of the things that I was just talking to one of the groups about is when I'm doing this submission, I want, part of my job is to keep the leg, I want control of it, and I want turn of it, and I want this leg, bent. I don't really want to do this heel hook from over here, okay? So I don't want the leg too extended, but then I also don't want you to think that if I do have control here and I'm doing this here, that you want to extend your leg. This is not the way, okay? There's too much weight here on the outside of your knee. You can pop your own knee trying to extend. So again, even though we're not talking about the defense tonight, okay, if you happen to play with heel hooks during the rolling, okay, it's how in the foot lock, right, I tell you put the boot in and boom, have a strong leg here, strong toes. You do that on a heel hook, you hurt yourself. Okay, so it's not what we're supposed to do. Okay, so once we're in the position here, right, one of the things that we do talk about is as I'm putting pressure here, people tend to roll. Now I'm gonna practice it the same way that we practice the toe hold. If you guys remember that, I had you let go of the toe hold. Okay, because when you roll with a submission, okay, when you roll with a toe hold, the landing, it's already tighter on the submission. Okay, so I like how we did the toe hold instead of just being here and be relying on your partner, not squeezing as we go. We're just gonna keep the leg here attached as he goes. Look, the back leg hooks on his leg here, and as he goes, I follow him. We land, and then we land in the same position. Now I can rehook this heel here, and then do the finish. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Do it from this side here. Go here. We'll roll in that direction. So we have the leg in place here. We go to the inside. We reap. We don't attack the heel. He's gonna go. Look, as he goes, this leg back here is hooking on the outside of his hip. Okay. As he lifts and he goes right away, he starts dropping to the knee. So that as he goes, his knee. You see how it's carrying my leg still. So then when we land with control. We attack the heel at that point. Okay. So same defenses or same follow-up as a toe hold, I'm sorry, right? Same follow-up, we just use that leg on the bottom. We'll do one more here from this side, okay? And then I actually want you to practice. I'm gonna show you the roll, the tag along here one more time. So we're here, stay close, stay attached. When he goes, I follow, I hook my leg so that he takes me over with him. We land, we rehook, we got the heel, okay? But I want you to practice this. After you get the tag along well, I want you to go from the standing position here. Then when we're kind of working on our passing, and we decide to go for a leg lock. So I hook, I go underneath, I go. Oh, sorry, Joe. Okay, I go here. I'm gonna start attacking the heel hook. Turn it to the inside. He goes. I tag along. We go to the side here, and then we hook, and we have the finish again. Okay. So it'll be more of a sequence of how we would attack this leg, potentially, right? It's not always done like that, but that's an open guard entry there. We take it, we don't hook the heel because they're gonna roll, okay? When they finish a roll, find the heel, we break, okay? Let's go, 1, 2, 3.